Okay, so a big difference from how I installed it and how I saw everybody else installing it was that I saw them drilling into the spare tire wheel well to run the hoses out. Instead, I just used the factory grommets and plugs and just drilled through them. And you can see that it goes easily to the bag with no obstructions. Another issue I ran into that I didn't see in any of the videos or in the instructions was how to remove the rear spring. The instructions tell you to take off a couple bolts that you don't really have to. There's just a few underneath that you have to do. And here's my dad explaining it. Where?
Okay, you just have to lose 2 screws. This one.
This bolt? Yeah, that bolt.
2 bolts. This one.
Uh-huh.
And this one here. And this is a 21 size.
Both?
Yeah. And 2 little ones here. There are 13. So it has a little plate comes here, around here. So when you lose those shoes with this one, the plate gets out. You put a jack, 4 jack in here. Okay. And take the other bolt, the other big 21 bolt.
And take that one out?
So when you take that out, you lose your
loosen the strut
and 2 here and 2 over here in the bottom. Here and here. So when you get that, you lower the jack, the floor jack. So the whole subframe suspension thing goes down. So you can pull the spring out.
No. Way better than the airlift instructions.
Oh, yeah.
To run the USB cable and the ignition without having to cut anything or drill anything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run both of them. The USB for the controller and then the pink wire that's supposed to go to any hot meaning that there's voltage there when the ignition is on, which a perfect one is a cigarette lighter. You could either run it to the fuse up in the front, but that's too much, like, that's gonna be way too much work for no reason, when I could just route it right here and then cut the cigarette lighter wire. I'm gonna take my meter and see if it's either the gray or the black. I would think it'd be the gray, but we'll see. And then you'll cut that, put a wire nut with this inside with that wire. So for you to take this cover off, there are 2. First, for you to take off the center console, you want to pop this cap off. There's only clips that hold it in. And then you take off these 7mm hex bolts. There's 2. And it's the same thing on the other side. The other side's the same thing. And then what you want to do is you want to open this and you pull this up as hard as you can and this up as hard as you can. And the first cover out and you'll get to it. And then you pull these up. See, these are clips. These are the slots for the clips. So this top part, it's just these clips holding it in. So you just pull hard and you'll pull it out. For this back portion right here, the same case. You just pull it out and it'll come out. Same thing for this slot in here. If you ever want to take that out, you just pull it and it'll come out. And then you loosen these 2 10mm nuts down there and you can pull this up and find the hole right there. So now I'm going to feed this from here to there. See, it just went out right there. And I'll just pull it up. Tape it up here, and then we'll pull it out from portion. See, now it's all went in there. See, now the USB and the pink are both routed under here, and it came out here. For me to wire the wiring harness to the main power supply, I went ahead and I passed it under the rear seat and then used the clothes hanger under the carpet to route the wires through this side panel so I wouldn't have to remove it. And then I routed it all the way up to the front and just hooked it into the 12-volt line I already had from the battery there. In anyone else's case, you would have to run it all the way to the battery. You wire it up to the battery with that provided inline fuse. Here's how I wired up the pink wire to the fuse holder with an inline fuse. Alright, so my compressor finally arrived. Compressor tank, sorry. And this is what I was running with for a while. Since when I ordered the kit, they told me the tank was going to be on back order, so I said fine, just send me everything else so I can already install it. And then I'll just swap the tank once it gets here, since I already had a little compressor tank. Okay, so for you to do the hoses for your tank, this is how I ran mine. I ran the top one up there with the check with the filter, and then that comes down and goes to the manifold. On the right, I got the drain, which just comes out right there, that angle one. And then there's that the overpressure valve, just in case it gets over 200. That'll let the air out, and then that goes down there. Goes under here, all the way down there. And then here is my fill, which comes from my compressor, which I actually just leave it sitting there because it doesn't move around at all. The only difference is I put that quick disconnect there just in case if you want to use some of the air that's in there. You want to attach a hose longer than this one to fill up your tires, or use a impact wrench. And so is those two. So are those two. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day. And then everything else is pretty much included in the instructions. I'll post up some pictures here so you could follow along. Be very careful when installing the centering spacer. You don't want to over tighten it, and then it could pull out the threads from the bag itself. So make sure you use a torque wrench for that.